Today's show, Cultural Capital and Cold Hard Cash. There was a time not long ago where the elites of society looked and talked differently from the rest of us. Their style and sophistication was a cultural marker of class and success. And these things couldn't be impersonated, they were inherited. Now, you can't quite tell the difference between wealthy and poor, and some feel that this is a good thing. The distribution of cultural capital is a path to creating a more egalitarian society. But our guest tonight says, not so fast. From her recent book review in Jacobin titled Cultural Capital is No Substitute for Cold Hard Cash, G'Shell writes, these days it's easier than ever to affect a high status look, with elites jettisoning exclusive markers of, quote, good taste for a more liberal, pluralistic conception of beauty and authenticity, not to mention a spate of speedy manufacturers gamely mimicking everything from Balenciaga handbags to Supreme hoodies at affordable prices. Side note, I'm really glad I was able to say Balenciaga. The task of affecting privilege has lost some of the difficulty that made Highsmith's drama so compelling. As W. David Marks argues in his book, Status and Culture, How Our Desire for Social Rank Creates Taste, Identity, Art, Fashion, and Constant Change, the rise of digital culture and the democratization of taste have diluted the potency of traditional class signals, physical mannerisms, refined elocution, knowledge of rarefied music and art, and proper manners. But the absence of overt snobbery and exclusive know-how hasn't disappeared status rankings altogether. Instead, it's made them more contingent on actual money. This is an excerpt from Cultural Capital is No Substitute for Cold Hard Cash. Wherever you are listening to or watching this show, there are links in the description. Our guest, Eileen G'Shell, is a poet and critic with recent contributions to Baffler, Current Affairs, Hyperallergic, and the Hopkins Review, among other publications. She's a 2023 winner of the Rabkin Foundation Prize in Arts and Journalism and teaches at Washington University in St. Louis. Please welcome Eileen G'Shell.
Hello. Thanks for having me. I want to get back to talking about Barbies. I'm going to try to find a way to have about cultural capital and class lasso wins and Barbies, because I've got a lot of good Barbie stories.
Do you have black Barbies?
That's the thing. I had almost exclusively black Barbies.
Is it because your parents were trying to teach you a lesson, or
my mom forbade us from having Barbies, and then what happened is that I have 3 younger sisters. They started to trickle in from relatives.
Who are your relatives?
Like they would give, like, for example, my godfather gave me my first Barbie, who is Teresa, who's brunette. Mm-hmm. I got like bridal Teresa when I was 6. And once the Barbie started trickling in, my mom was like, okay, this is a unreasonable beauty standard. This isn't good. So what I'm going to do is promote black beauty and basically all black Barbies. I also suspect, though, that she had other much less virtuous motivations. I think that the black Barbies went on sale faster. As fuck. Can we curse?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I should have asked that, but yeah, my mom is very, very frugal. So I don't know if part of the reason we had such united colors of Benetton ensemble of Barbies was because of maybe my mom finding them on clearance, because that was often where we would get toys. So yeah.
That's hilarious.
I'd like to think that my mom had really just like wholesome, like she was a big proponent of like Missouri had like one of the first black Miss Americas. I think her name was Debbie Johnson, I think. And then Debbie Thomas was the black figure skater.
Oh, she's from St. Louis?
No, the figure skater was. But the Miss America was like Miss Missouri was, And so I don't know, throughout the 80s and early 90s, there were these different, FloJo. We had a FloJo doll and Barbie.
Nice.
I'm trying to think your mom was finding all the discount toys. Is there a Dollar General in your neighborhood? Because this sounds like some Big Lots / Dollar General.
Well, my mom is a big proponent of Big Lots, or at least was. I don't know if Big Lots is still around anymore, but when Big Lots first started, taking over suburban America, and she was a proponent for sure.
You had hella discount Barbie shit like the Barbie Prius, Barbie Mazda.
I had like, we did have stuff though that wasn't really practical. Like we wanted a Barbie house. We wanted the basic needs for Barbie, like housing.
You didn't get any of that. You got the Barbie room for rent.
Yes, where we had like, I remember thinking, if we can't have a house, let's get a mobile home because at least she has a place to live. But we didn't have the dream mobile home either. So like we had our Barbies. Like my dad built a Barbie church because we were a very Catholic family.
Wow.
They lived in the church. The Barbies lived in the church, and so we had to find narrative context for their interactions to justify the fact that they were living in a church. And often the narratives we came up with had to do with like war or something really dramatic where no one has a place to live and they're just like sheltering in a church. I mean, it made weddings very convenient.
But the thing is that you've created a black church for your black Barbies. And that's
but it was
what's the most funny is like,
that's hilarious.
In my mind, I'm seeing these white children with Barbie shouting in the pew, like just in the aisles and
on the altar.
Barbie speaking in tongues.
Ken and Barbie in the church choir area because that was like where they slept. Their little feet would stick out because they were too big for the choir area that was up the stairs. But they had their little erotic space there.
Sister act ass Barbie. Mama, I want to get a Mahalia Jackson record for my black Barbie church.
Mahalia Jackson.